Imagine if the Secret Service's wildest idea was putting a US president in a gangster's car. Believe it or not, it happened. Picture this, December 8, 1941, just a day after the Pearl Harbor attack. President Franklin Roosevelt urgently needed to get from the White House to Congress to declare war on Japan. Now, given the sensitivity of the situation, they decided the presidential car was a no-go, no protective armor, no bulletproof glass. Back then, the US government had a rule: no spending more than $750 on a single car. Bulletproof cars cost way more than that, as Michael Riley, Roosevelt's head of Secret Service, pointed out. Now, here's the kicker. Enter Al Capone, the notorious gangster. 9 years earlier, the Treasury Department had confiscated his car, and guess what? It had bulletproof glass. Voila, Roosevelt became the first US president to ride in an armored vehicle. Fast forward a few decades, with multiple attempts on US presidents' lives, turns out, convertibles are a big no-no for the commander-in-chief. Now, the White House splashes a cool $300 to $400 million annually just to securely move the president around. Now, let's delve into the modern-day motorcade. There are two vehicles in the presidential motorcade, the iconic limousines. We're talking 16 to 20 of these beasts for the president. Overkill, you say? Hold that thought. In each motorcade, there's a mix of vehicles: police cars, Secret Service SUVs, ambulances, and those two identical limos. Fun fact, both limos have the same license plate number. Which one does the president ride in? Your guess is as good as mine. These limos are no ordinary rides: bomb-proof bottoms, bulletproof doors and windows, and enough weaponry to make James Bond jealous. And get this, they weigh a whopping 15,000 to 20,000 pounds. Talk about heavy duty. But let's say the president is on a campaign trail, hitting multiple cities in a day. Each city needs its motorcade, and all the rides, including the limos, are pre-positioned there. Costs? Enormous. But not as mind-boggling as the price tag for the secure package, that's the limos and Secret Service SUVs. They're loaded into C-17 Globemaster or C-5 Galaxy cargo planes, both owned by the US Air Force. Think 100 grand or more per flight hour. And brace yourself, it's about to get even pricier. If the president's destination isn't too far, he hops onto Marine One, that's the chopper with the president on board. For longer distances, it's Air Force One, yup, the one with the president flying on an Air Force aircraft. Let's break down a scenario. The president wants to visit a farm in Kankakee, Illinois. Marine One lands on the South Lawn, whisks him to Andrews Air Force Base, where he switches to Air Force One. From Chicago O'Hare International Airport, it's a 75-mile drive to Kankakee. But hold on, why waste time on the road when you can fly? Air Force One takes him to the airport, then Marine One swoops in. Magic? Nope, just meticulous planning. Now, the first Air Force One had a different look. Back in 1959, President Eisenhower hopped on a modified Boeing 707. But here's the twist, it looked like a military plane. Enter Raymond Loewy, the design maestro behind Coca-Cola dispensers and Greyhound buses. He gave Air Force One its iconic steel blue and water blue look. And guess what? It stuck, even for Air Force Two. Those two Boeing VC-25 planes serving as Air Force One are no ordinary jumbo jets. One's for the president, and the other is the Doomsday plane. It's like a command center, ready for any scenario, even launching nukes. Both can reportedly withstand electromagnetic pulses from nuclear detonations. But did you know Air Force One wasn't always Air Force One? Previously, they'd use the actual call sign, but in 1953, a mix-up between a commercial flight and the president's plane prompted a change. Air Force One became official in 1962. And it didn't stop there. Now, we've got Marine One, Army One, Navy One, Ground Force One, and even the unofficial Rail Force One. A whole fleet for every scenario. Speaking of unique situations, let's talk Navy One. Only one aircraft ever got this title, a Lockheed S-3 Viking carrying President George W. Bush to the USS Abraham Lincoln in 2003. Yep, the one with the "Mission Accomplished" banner. Now, Ground Force One isn't a black armored bus for show. It's the real deal, carrying the president on longer road trips. Two of these buses, a sweet $1.1 million each, were snagged by the Secret Service during Obama's second-term campaign. And the secret sauce? Run-flat tires. These babies keep the bus rolling even if a tire gets punctured, buying time for repairs. Rail Force One, though not official, made headlines when President Biden hopped a train from Poland to Ukraine. A strategically loaded Marine helicopter and the secure package waited for him at his destination. Simple farm visits becoming costly? You betcha. USPR.